Our majority of them are held by dark force energies.
Aloha friend, happy to help you out. This video was done because it's explaining, or trying to explain why our national parks feel the way that they feel, why you get these big awesome feelings or these big scary feelings in that. And this creator was trying to say that they're because of ley lines or around all these national parks, and they are protected, and there's all these dark energy forces surrounding them, which could then connect you to different kinds of, she says, portals. I call them vortices. And then, different kinds of habitats can be found underneath them that we just can't see with the naked eye. Why am I going to push? There's a reason I'm going to push a little bit with this one. So aloha friend, if you happen to be watching this, if you're brand new to my station, let me help you out. Remember that the way that we intuit all information is going to go through the way that we sense information, the way that we think information, the way that we feel information. What was that? The way that we feel our emotions. And because of that, that is how energy flows through our conduit. If you are a person who leans into the energetics of all things being able to sustain dark energy and more, then the way that you tune into energy is going to move into that way. All of it is going to move into that way. So I actually can understand your perspective, and I would say there's a lot of truth in your perspective because of the way that you contribute to the energy around you. But one of the things that is so critical for us when you are making statements like that onto a platform with a very large amount of followers is to understand that you are contributing to the energetics of everyone that's around you. And I believe that you were trying to offer a caveat to the collective, which maybe you were trying to be helpful. But in moments like that, you are not being helpful because you are speaking from a very myopic perspective. Your perspective alone. And your perspective alone needs a little bit more growth and a little bit more wiggle room. Let me give you an example. So I am from the Hawaiian Islands. If you do not know who I am a Kanaka Maoli High Seer. In Hawaii, Hawaii runs parallel to some really phenomenal ley lines. And you're speaking about ley lines in this, energetic creative lines that run throughout the whole entire circumference of the world, right? They're amazing. But for me, in the way that I perceive energy, the way that I see vibrations and more, with your school of thought, I would be able to say, well, that's because there's all this dark energy kind of being held in these different captive places. Now, there's a little bit of shred of truth to that, but again, it's myopic. That little bit of shred of truth would say, well, Hawaii is above what the original Mu was, the original Lemuria was, right? So therefore, could there be trapped energy inside of that? Well, that's where we should get a little bit of truth in what you were saying. But where it is lacking is, well, for me, as a very, very high intuitive Kanaka Maoli High Seer, in your school of thought, I would only see the world in that way, and I don't. Never have. Can I be in communication to energy in the earth? Absolutely. Is there sentient energy that doesn't look like us in the earth? Absolutely. How exciting, how awesome to think about it that way. But it's not because of dark energy holding it there. That is a very, very specific perspective that you are pushing a narrative of when you have a very, very large following like you do. And I want you to remember that we have responsibility when we have large followings. And you may not want that responsibility. And if you do not want that responsibility, then stop saying things like that. Because you are literally pulling a lot of other individuals who may not be as intellectual as you are, who may not have as enough instinct as you do to make those very clear differences of, is that specific to her or is that true for everyone? Because the way that you're speaking says this is true for all locations, and that's just simply not true. It's just simply not true. And I also want you to be really mindful that if we can evidentially back that information up, then it's all going to be between the conversation you have and all the other individuals who think like you. Which is one of the reasons why I don't talk openly about that. Though I can sense that information and see that information, I have a really hard time validating that information because it's not tangible. Right? There are certain individuals I can have a conversation with and I can validate how they're feeling because they have a connection to those energetics or those ley lines, but it's so specific. So it would be impossible for me to say this is the truth for every single other individual, especially because I can't prove it. Food for thought, friend. And if you are feeling activated and angered by what I'm saying, then sit with that discomfort for a little bit. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Happy to have a conversation with you.